Welcome to the Doin Alright podcast presented by Prize Picks.
And we are back. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, man, on this lovely solo dolo edition of the Doin Alright. Brian Bros ain't here. So this is going to be a Voch and Friends joint today. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Hey, man, we got some work for y'all today, man. I got some things to do. I could have took this show a little easy, dropped a little 30-minute and went on home, but we going to give y'all a longer show today. We got Greg Ellis tomorrow. That's going to be important. Be sure to tap in with that one. And Friday, we got the day off. Why? I hope we got camera 4 ready. 4th of July, big dog. We're going to take that whole weekend off because when the banks close, we close. All right, so this is what we got on deck today. We got Jay Tuck from CFO Sports, man. He's going to join the show and drop a little bit on us. And then I saw something interesting on the Twitter machine, man. We got PFF. They said something quite fascinating about Dak Prescott, so I'm going to take a little moment to dunk on the haters. But I wanted to open up with something. I saw something interesting, man. I went back to my Rolodex, man. I was scrolling. My hotline blinked. I was taking a walk the other day, and I saw this tweet on one of our Q&As. I just want to remind y'all, if we do Q&A and we don't get to your question, that don't mean we won't get to your question. We'll get to it at some point, you know what I'm saying? So please be patient with us. Dizzy, the real Vision, that's a cool little name. Dizzy on Twitter hit me with this. He says, Voch, it was probably Voch and Brian, we're going to use it today. Voch, if you can pick one draft pick from last year to have a Pro Bowl year and pair him with one player to have a good year from this year's draft, what is your pairing that will help the most? Yo, Dizzy, come on, bro. Yo, Dizzy, let me tell y'all something. When we be asking for questions, that's the one right there. Don't be asking us, Voch, we're gonna fire Jerry Jones. Don't ask us that. Don't ask us that. Voch, how many interceptions Dak gonna throw? Don't. Voch, we're gonna sign Max Crosby. That's a cool. But Dizzy, this the one right here, sir. Appreciate you. I thought it was fascinating. And I sat and thought about it for a little bit, you know, as I was driving in this morning, because it's a lot of ways you can attack this issue or this question, this proposition, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, you have to account for the good guys that's going to be good regardless. This is what I did. You got to account for the good guys that's going to be good regardless. And then one thing that I considered, okay, can I make a bad pick good? You know what I mean? But I still wanted to make sense in a way. Or like, I'm not going to pick Tommy Aking-Basote. A lot of y'all don't even know who the hell Tommy Aking-Basote is. But he was a 7th round pick, I believe, he was in Maryland or something like that. It's a long time. But I'm not just going to pick a player that just wouldn't make sense, that wouldn't make a realistic leap. I want to take a player, the Rambling Draft Class. I want to take a player, and I want to make a realistic, I could see it, but I still want to add some exaggeration to the party, some hyperbole to the party. You know what I mean? So if y'all looking for me to talk about Jay Toia, I am not. If y'all expecting me to talk about Jay Toia, I am not. Why not? Well, because I don't think Jay Toia would come in and be better than Quentin Williams. And if Jay Toia was fantastic, he ain't starting over either one of those guys. You know what I mean? So I'm not even going to anticipate that idea. I have a hard time feeling like Jay Toia is even going to be on the active roster or even make the team this year, right? So it's all relative. It's all relative to like make a little bit of sense. I'm trying to Google Deron Bland's draft class so I can make this next example make sense. Also, something else I want to do is consider the idea of how important would it be if a day 3 guy hit in this class? That's the one thing that makes draft classes, right? If you layer a draft class based on, like, you just layer like grades and percentages or whatever, right? The first round pick is going to be 50%. If you hit on those first round picks, that's basically what we're going to judge your entire draft off of, right? But I do think you make your teams with the late draft pick guys, right? So here we go. We got the 2022 draft. Cowboys picked 9 guys. Big Tyler was your first round pick. We will all say that Big Tyler worked out. Sam Williams and Jalen Tolbert were 2 and 3. That makes me sick. It is what it is. Sam on the team, Jalen Tolbert in Miami somewhere, soaking up the weather. Jake Ferguson was your 4th round pick. The Cowboys had 4 5th round picks that year, right? So we got Matt Waletzko, Deron Bland, yes. Damone Clark, yeah. John Ridgeway, in which people thought that John Ridgeway was going to work out, but when you live in lack, John Ridgeway makes you excited. He ended up going to the Saints. I don't know if John Ridgeway still play football now. And then you have Devin Harper in the 6th round. Now, going into that class, and I'm gonna tie it all back to what Dizzy's question was. If you go back to the 2022 class, if you go, man, if Tyler Smith is who he is, you know what I'm saying? And let's just say you get something out of your 2nd and 3rd round pick. We didn't, but let's just say that you did. What really what saves this class, right? What really saves this class is the fact that you got Jake in the 4th and Deron Bland in the 5th. If you miss on another 5, let me look back. We got the greatest producers in the world. If you look back on it, we had no clue Deron Bland was going to do what Deron Bland did. We didn't think that Deron Bland was going to break the pick 6 record and go out and get money from us and be like a pivotal conversation piece to this thing moving forward. But Deron Bland and Jake Ferguson kind of low-key made this draft class not a complete disaster. But let me say this. What if Tyler Smith was incredible? What if Sam Williams and Jalen Tolbert were simply good and Jake Ferguson gets his 2nd contract and still starts, and then Deron Bland emerges as a top 5th round pick? Then this is a phenomenal draft class that we talking about in years to come as a centerpiece to Cowboys success, right? But we make misses in the 2nd and 3rd round. So let's get back to Dizzy's question here. I actually approached it from 2 directions here. There is a low-hanging fruit answer that we should all go by. You know what I mean? There's a low-hanging fruit answer that if this player ended up being a Pro Bowl type player or just a good player, then all right, we can all smile at this, right? But then there's a sneaky one in there to where if this player steps up, it'll be what it is, right? So let's go to the 2025 class, right? And Dizzy's question says, the 2025 draft class, we have to make this guy a Pro Bowler, okay? So this player steps in and they become a Pro Bowler for you. The low-hanging fruit is Savon Revel. The low-hanging fruit is bona fide Savon Revel. I feel good about Kobe Durant. We don't really know what Savon Revel is, but we do know that he was projected to be a 1st-round pick. He was projected to be one of the better corners in the class. I had Jahdae Barron over him, but Brian Broaddus had Savon Revel ranked higher than Jahdae Barron. You look at the size, the measurables, the athleticism. Savon Revel was on pace to being one of them guys, but injury happened, right? So the big conversation around Savon Revel is that if Revel could be a guy that recovers from his knee injury and he ends up being who you thought he was going to be, then it makes a ton of sense for Revel to be Pro Bowl guy that steps in and saves the day at your cornerback situation, right? That'll be fun. But the sneaky one, the one that we're not talking about. And Brian kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, yesterday on the Doin Alright podcast. If you weren't around, then shame on you. You missed shows. But what if something happens at the linebacker position and we force one of the backup middle linebackers to come in and play? And let's just say that it's not Jayshawn Barham. Jayshawn Barham is going through the rookie woes and maybe he's not up to speed. He's cool to play sometimes, but Jayshawn Barham just he didn't quite win that competition to be the 2nd middle linebacker off the board here, off the bench here. And what if you take the linebacker that led your team in tackles last year? I think that's important. You take the linebacker that led your team in tackles last year, you put him on this year 2 leap, you put him in the offseason peanut butter, he's a little bit bigger, and he sees it just a fraction quicker. He sees it just a fraction quicker. Then, if Shamar James emerges as this Pro Bowl type guy for you, look, then you've solved your mic position. All right, cool. And then if Shamar James is a Pro Bowl, you can do what the hell you want to do with Overshown. At that point, you can do what you want to do. Him and Overshown and D. Winters can compete for will linebacker if you want to. You could take Jayshawn Barham, and Jayshawn Barham may be the future Mike one day, but go put him at outside linebacker where he was in college. I think if you have a Pro Bowler at linebacker, and I think it's realistic because he led the damn team in tackles last year, he played a bunch of snaps for you. Like Shamar James wasn't just some dude that's just on the team. We just hadn't heard nothing from him, and now we talk about him this year. He was a guy that was involved last year. If Shamar James ends up being a Pro Bowl guy for you, I think that'll be pretty nice for this thing. As for the 2026 draft class, Dizzy mentioned that, hey, not Pro Bowlers, but these guys just end up being good players for you, okay? Cool. I got a feeling that Caleb Downs is going to be who he's going to be anyway. So I don't want to waste my make this player good token on Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs is going to be good already and the potential to be great. But you look at the rest of the 2026 draft class, which one of these guys that I could just hit a button and just make them good? The low-hanging fruit in real life, ladies and gentlemen, would be Malachi Lawrence. The second first-round pick for you. He's the first-round pick that you got at the 24th overall pick. And you're kind of lacking in pass rush, okay? So, of course, the low-hanging fruit would be, okay, well, you got Rashawn Gary on one side. Donovan Ezraku, he's recovering from the hip and stuff like that. Boy, if Malachi Lawrence can step up and be a good player for you, then you got 3 pass rushers that you can kind of trust for real. But he's the low-hanging fruit. The sneaky answer, and I'm going to sound phony as hell. Everybody get ready. I'm about to sound phony. Because I've been kind of down on this player, but if I got a free your ass need to play better token, I would play it on this guy. And that's LT Overton. And this is why it makes sense. I mentioned Jay Toia. Jay Toia is your 320-pound, zero nose type guy. Not only is Kenny Clark a better nose, but if anything happened to Kenny Clark, then Quentin Williams just go play better nose. There's 2 obstacles in place, significant obstacles in place named Quentin and Kenny that's keeping Jay Toia from emerging as a zero guy. But LT Overton is different. LT Overton is your 4-eye guy. He's your interior defensive tackle, big end type guy. Jerry Jones came out and said that LT Overton is going to be doing Oso Digizua things. That's false. No way. Not this time. We made it up. Jerry Jones didn't consult with his film consultant or whatever. He didn't tap in with his guy that, prepares Jerry for the talking points. You know what I mean? LT Overton he's not going to be doing any Oso Digizua things. He's going to be a big end. He's going to be a 4-eye. He's going to be an added piece to the interior D-line on these base downs. He's not going to be a stand-up outside linebacker neither. He's not really a pass rusher. Like, his whole thing is he's a ball of clay steel, incredibly long arms. I think he got like 34.5-inch arms, which is like one of the top in the class. He's strong as hell and has functional play strength. But the idea is, can LT Overton come in and play over these 2 guys? Their name ain't Quinn and Kenny. Those are the top names, whatever. But can LT Overton beat Tito Ogbanya? And can he beat Jonathan Bullard? Now, where LT Overton has the advantage over those guys is that LT Overton has sponsors. He has a long contract. And he was a draft pick. So LT Overton should be here. He just has to beat these savvy veterans. Now, I love the idea of bringing in these savvy veterans because just in case Overton don't work out, you got Otito Ogbanya and Jonathan Bullard to figure this thing out until the rookie gets his feet up under him, right? But if I could just throw a coin into the ocean and say, hey, man, can I make LT Overton better? Can I make him a good player? You take a good player, you put him next to an all-pro, you put him next to Quentin, and you put him next to those edges, and hopefully my damn make a guy better coin can elevate LT Overton to making this damn front ridiculous. And then just let CP do what CP does on the back end. Dizzy, that was a fantastic question. Appreciate y'all. Hey, man, we about to pay some bills, take a real quick PP break, and then we're going to get Jay Tuck from CFO Sports. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app, and it's really simple to use. You just pick more or less on a few player stats, and that's your lineup. You're looking at things like points, yards, strikeouts, goals, shots, and you decide, is this player going to go more or less than that number? It's available in most states, including Texas, so you can jump in and play. If you're new, download the Prize Picks app, use the code HMA, and when you play your first $5, you get $50 in lineups instantly. And you can follow me on there too at Crown Media, so you can see my picks before the show and ride along with what I'm playing. All right, let me show you the lineup I put together today. We're going to stick with a little bit of soccer here. Harry Kane, the attacker for England, he's going to go more than 2.5 shots today against the Congo. And then we're going to go with Christian Pulisic, the USA superstar, against Bosnia. He's going to go more than 2.5 shots as well. Again, that's Prize Picks. Use code HMA, play $5, get $50 in lineups instantly. Good luck tonight.
Health advice gets confusing fast. Everybody has a different opinion, and when it comes to supplements, it can feel like you're just guessing. That's one of the reasons why Blueprint's longevity mix stood out for me. Blueprint takes a science-backed, data-driven approach. They're not just throwing trendy ingredients on a label. Every ingredient is included for a reason at a study-level dosage. It's one scoop in water and is designed to support energy, cognitive performance, mood, focus, sleep, cellular resilience, and healthy aging. It includes ingredients like magnesium, taurine, glycine, creatine, and more. Blueprint also has every batch third-party tested for purity and contaminants like heavy metals, and they publish those testing results on their websites so you can see exactly what's in the product. For a limited time, new customers can get 20% off plus free shipping at blueprint.brianjohnson.com using a promo code CROWN. Again, that's blueprint.brianjohnson.com with promo code CROWN for 20% off free shipping.
All right, y'all, we back. Salute to everybody giving us money. Appreciate y'all. Hey, man, we got a special guest, man. Told y'all we was going to do a good old episode of Voch and Friends since Broadus ain't here, man. Got one of the leaders in this thing that we do, a pillar in this thing that we do, and I've known him for a long time, so it's only a matter of time that we get him here on the virtual couch here at the Doin Alright on the screen. We got Jay Tuck from CFO Sports, man. What's happening with your player?
Hey, what's going on, bro, man? What's up, Cowboys Nation, man? Thanks for having me. Like you said, we've known each other for a long time. I think, when was that, 2021? We met at camp for the first time? It was a while back, bro.
I've known you since 2020. Met you in real life in 21. Met you and your mother. We all sit back and we kicked the wheels at camp and all that. And, man, we've been solid, bro. We've been good to go.
Facts, bro. Super proud of you, man. Super proud of your growth, man. What y'all doing over there, man. So salute to Crown, salute to Brian, and salute to Voch.
Appreciate you, man. Let me ask you a relative business question before we get into the work. We ain't doing nothing else. I always ask people about when they rebrand their YouTube names and all this, because me and Foots talked about it for a long time. He was Cowboy Nation TV, and he rebrands it into Foots the King, and then you see growth from that. And I always thought back in the day, if you just put Cowboy in your name, people will come holler at you, you know what I mean? But I see people succeed when they rebrand away from the Cowboy name, definitely in our space. Why you think that is? Where you get from that?
Yeah, man, it's a variety of different factors. Now, for me personally, my channel started off as Cowboys fans only, so it's kind of play off the OnlyFans. I had the logo because it started from a whole group chat conversation that I had with a friend of mine. So that's where it really started from. But as I started to grow and progress, I was doing things on a radio station, especially here in Kansas City, and there was Chiefs fans wanting to tune into me. So I felt like the Cowboys fans only name was kind of inclusive for only Cowboys fans. So I wanted to change it. So that's why I shifted to CFO Sports, and I wanted to expand my brand. And I think that what we ultimately find out as Cowboys content creators is, hey, man, we talk about the Cowboys. That's where our passion is. That's our heartbeat. But we can cover a lot of different things. You do draft content. Shout out to Foots. He does draft content. So during draft season, we are the people that a lot of people come to from outside the Cowboys fan base. So I think that's why a lot of us do excel once we kind of rebrand and kind of just lose the Dallas Cowboys thing. But don't get it twisted. Dallas Cowboys is always going to be my home base.
100%, man. Rome next. We're going to have him on the virtual couch soon, you know what I'm saying? But shouts out to him, man. He does great work with you as well. You, Rome, and DMV over there at Cover 3. Y'all all fans of the show. Man, Jay Tuck, I got to ask, man. I'm just, man, dog, people be mad at me because of the Kool-Aid, dog. They be mad at me because I be positive as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a little thing that we going to do later on when I talk about Cowboy positivity. But, man, I'm not here for anybody pushing back on me being positive this year. You know what I mean? I look at what the offense is. The offense is going to be just fine. They bring back everybody. Nothing on the offense changes. So everybody gets continuity. Year two, Shotty and Clayton Adams get to open things up on their side. And the defense was the worst defense I've ever seen with my eyes. So they clearly have to get better as well. J Tuck, why are people fighting me for being optimistic?
It's crazy, bro, because it goes in waves. Now, last year I was too negative because I didn't like the Matt Eberflus thing. I didn't like the way that Micah Parsons situation. So I was too negative last year, right? And some of the things that you mentioned, Christian Parker, the offense, Caleb Downs, man, because I'm just not a Caleb Downs fan because he's a Dallas Cowboy. I'm a Caleb Downs fan just coming back from when he was at Alabama. So I'm excited. So it ain't just you, Voch. I get accused now. I'm on the Kool-Aid team. So a lot of people like, yo, Tuck, you just being too optimistic. You pumping Kool-Aid into the fan base. I'm like, I can't be excited about the changes that we made. But honestly, man, sometimes I feel like Cowboys fans, we've been scoring for so long, they're too afraid to buy in, right? They're too afraid because they feel like they're going to get let down. They're afraid of failure. But me, Voch, it's been 30 damn years. What you afraid of? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What's another year letdown really going to do? I've been trying to tell Cowboys fans and the people who've been listening to my show, hey, man, be who you are. If you're excited about the team, be excited. If you want to wait and see how Christian Parker and the defense really unfolds, then be that. Be comfortable in your own skin, man. But I'm not going to let people pull my strings and sway me one direction or other, because it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're doing too negative, you don't like the Christian Parker hire, you're too negative. If you're excited about it, you're too positive. It just is what it is, man. We do what we do, and let the real people who embrace us.
Since you're on the Kool-Aid team in general, let's hyper-focus on Christian Parker, because ain't no Kool-Aid more potent than what he's doing. Like, it's a big-ass bag of sugar poured into the Kool-Aid. Right. We've been stirring that mug.
Like a house party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, it's like, this the problem. This is what the negatives, and I promise we ain't going to talk about negative people all day. We're going to really talk some talk. But it's like the negative side will go, well, what is Christian Parker doing that the average good coach doesn't do? And I'm like, yes. Yes, exactly. Yes. We wasn't getting these things before. The talking point that rings in my ear all the time is, well, every time there's somebody new, you hear good things about them. I don't remember this kind of vibe, this kind of atmosphere about Zimmer or about Flus. It's like Zimmer was like some last minute shit that just kind of happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
And talking to Broad, hey, I'm friends with Mike Zimmer. Yeah, he coming out of vacation. He might go back to vacation. He might retire again. I'm like, damn, that don't sound like a long term plan here. This Flus thing sounded like a last minute Jones relationship thing. But Shotty kind of said, all right, bro, if we gonna do it, we're going to do it my way. And not only do you hire Christian Parker, but his entire staff is like this new wave of, hey, I don't just have this friend that's been following me for 30 years. Like Paul Gunther is automatically attached to, you know what I'm saying? It's like these are all dudes to where they're future DCs. And the whole hiring operation was just different. Where you at on CP and the whole coaching staff on defense?
Yeah, bro, I agree with you. Because we go back to last year, what we did this year defensively is what we did offensively last year, right? You got Brian Schottenheimer, then randomly it was Clayton Adams, all right? You brought in Clayton Adams, and then you brought in Junior Adams from Oregon, then my guy Connor Riley from Kansas State, and then all of a sudden you went and got Kent. So it was like a bunch of people who wasn't connected offensively, right, being put together. And I think that's the same thing when it comes to our defense. Now, Voch, I'll say this. I know you played offensive line. I was a defensive guy. I played linebacker as well. X's and O's are cool, but sometimes I think defense, the most important thing is just your mentality, right? The energy you play with, the physicality that you play with. Are you buying into what you're doing out there on the field? And last year when I watched this defense under Matt Eberflus, I just didn't see guys playing with energy, swagger, excitement. It just wasn't there. It was kind of just flat. I think that Christian Parker changed that. If you were a guy on the defensive side of the ball last year, you're sitting back seeing Shotty come out in shiesty mask and George Pickens, they had their own dap and stuff. And you got to sit in a meeting room with Matt Eberflus. You were probably like the Squidward meme, looking out your window, seeing like SpongeBob and Patrick having fun, thinking, I want to be over there. Yeah. Now the Dallas Cowboys have their excitement. They have their force multiplier on the defensive side of the ball, and Christian Parker, who understands their language. He has a Jordan shoe collection. He got Cartier frames on. Like he
got watches and cologne and shit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. So it's like it's a different type of energy. And then you talk about the staff and Coach Wilson, and list goes on and on. It's just a new energy defensively. And here's the thing that has me the most excited, Voch. there's no more ties of these old Dan Quinn pieces, right? You think about it, all you pretty much have lingering on is like Malik Hooker, you got, kind of Overshown and Deron Bland, but this is all new inventory that Christian Parker has, from Rashawn Gary to Quentin Williams to Kenny Clark. You went and got Kobe Durant and Jalen Thompson, who I'm a fan of. So it's a brand new defense with a brand new attitude. Then you add on the rookies. Dallas Cowboys fans should be excited about the defense, especially after what we went through last year. So don't let people take that away from me. I'm excited for Christian Parker because I feel like he's building things the right way.
All right, that's enough of the low-hanging fruit, man. Let's get into some talk, man. You ready? How about this?
All right, let's get it.
This is my first one. Who's going to have the better advantage in the cornerback room? The more talented guy or the guy that picks up the system good enough that CP can freely play chess with him?
That's a good question. I think it's going to. Yeah, that's a really good question. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be the guy that builds the trust with CP. Right. I really think that Kobe Durant is probably going to get that outside nod. Right. So Kobe Durant, I would probably pencil him in. Mm-hmm. Now, what I've been trying to explain, Voch, a lot of people have been talking about, hey, we going from a 4-3 to a 3-4, 4-3 to a 3-4. I mean, technically in the verbiage world we are, but I want people to kind of get familiar with the 3-3-5 penny, right? So we're going to be in nickel a lot to match personnel. So Caleb Downs will be our slot guy, our nickel guy that's playing on the inside in a lot of Christian Parker schemes, right? So I think that's where a lot of people are missing over. So the outside cornerback, that is going to be up for grabs. Now, I think Deron Bland, naturally, he is going to get the nod, but right now he's on the courts. You know what I'm saying? He can't help us while he's on the courts. So that gives you the opportunity. Could Siobhan Revel maybe take that approach, maybe take a leapfrog? I think it's going to be between Revel and Bland, but you could see a situation where it could be a dark horse. I personally like Devin Moore out of Florida, even though he's a rookie. He has a lot of great traits if he can stay healthy. So I think that's where the competition really lies, is the outside quarterback too. It starts with Deron Bland, just being honest, but I feel like if Christian Parker sees some traits in like Siobhan Revel and he feels like that's what I really want, we might have a tough conversation as we get out of camp.
That's something else I like about this cornerback room too, is like everybody's kind of on even foot for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever comes out and win the job. I don't think it's going to be a bunch of politics involved here. And like Christian Parker, he hadn't come out and said this, right? But you could just tell by how the roster on defense has been put together. If he can't use you, you probably ain't got a job right now, or you going to go play in Indy somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I do think there's going to be opportunity for some dude that we're not thinking about to kind of emerge a little bit. I don't even think that's off-season. We ain't got nothing to talk about. I really do feel like Deron Bland is the money guy right now. He ain't got a whole bunch of guaranteed money, but he is money guy right now. If Wheezy Bridges understand the damn scheme better than everybody else, I think that's gonna mean something. If like we don't know nothing about what Christian Parker is going to be running right now. I mean, we have ideas, but I have a feeling that he's going to want somebody that, all right, I may line up as like a robber or some shit, and then I'll walk up and press, but really I'm just bailing like hook and curl or something. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a lot of movement and stuff going on, and you have to process. You have to think. Like brain works is a thing for a reason. I think there's going to be somebody on this roster, linebacker, safety, corner, whatever it is. They may not have the advantage talent-wise or, reputation or whatever, but they're going to do exactly what Christian Parker, and it could be Reddy Stewart. They're going to do exactly what Christian Parker asked them to do, and that's going to be their biggest sponsorship in this whole thing.
Yeah, and I agree, because traditionally when it comes to the Cowboys, Voch, we know if they pay them, they're going to be playing them, right? But the fact that Christian Parker came in and saw Osa and said, hey, man, I'm excited y'all paid him, bro, but that ain't going to fit what I do. You know what I'm saying? And they moved on, right? So I don't think that just because the Dallas Cowboys paid Deron Bland that he's going to be the safety net. So I think a lot of people do kind of just think that, we paid him, so he's going to be the other corner. I feel like Christian Parker being the cornerback guru that he's been claimed of, if there's any project I want to see can he take on is, can you get Deron Bland back to who he used to be? Can you build his confidence? Can you, get him back? Because if you're able to get Deron Bland back to when he was breaking records, that changes a lot defensively. So I'm going to see if he's able to do that. But I agree with you, Voch. If we're sitting back and be like, hey, man, Devin Moore, hell, I don't know, maybe Kalen Carson turns up, is playing better than Deron Bland, then that's going to be the guy I think that Christian Parker will go with, because he ain't tired of Deron Bland. I ain't draft him, I ain't paid him, and y'all brought me in to fix this defense, and if I need to play Wheezy Bridges, I don't think I'll go that far, but maybe it's Josh Butler or somebody that fits my scheme better. I think the Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer are going to stand behind Christian Parker and really let him cook.
I don't think people been all the way tapped into the film. Like national media guys, they're not going to watch as much, and that's okay. They're national media, but I do think people are underrating two players here, and that's Kobe Durant and that's D Winters. If you watch Kobe Durant, not only is Kobe Durant would have been the best cornerback on your team last year, might be the best cornerback on your team this year, but he's nice. Like Kobe Durant get picks, like he got instincts, you know what I'm saying? He's always in the right place, right time guy, and he does it in the postseason as well. But then there's D Winters, who, well, Voch, why did the 49ers get rid of him? Well, they got Fred and Greenlaw over there. You know what I mean? They just can't keep everybody. But I do think that Kobe Durant, just like you mentioned earlier, you can go ahead and write him in. I'm writing Durant in pen. I think he's the best corner you got right now, unless Revel makes some huge leap that we weren't ready for. And then D Winters, I think he's going to start, and everything else in the linebacker room is going to be figuring out in competition, all that. But what did you think about D Winters and Kobe Durant?
Yeah, I like Kobe Durant. I mean, the only thing that's really pissing me off about Kobe Durant is that number. I need to come up off that number. I need to come up off that number, man, because here's the thing I'm trying to tell Cowboys Nation. If Kobe Durant goes out there and ball, more than likely we ain't paying him next year, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? Just come up off the number so we can get our Caleb Downs jerseys. But besides that, I agree. He is our best corner out there. The physicality, toughness, he's good in zone. He has good instincts, but he can also play man. I feel like that's what we were kind of missing last year, that if we pressed, we were getting stressed. We really didn't have the man coverage corners last year. I mean, you had Trayvon Diggs, but he was coming out the injury. Deron Bland was coming out the injury. So I know that a lot of us was on Matt Eberflus about giving up so much cushion, but the games where he tried to get up there and press and be physical, we was getting torched. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think that Kobe Durant is not only going to be our best corner, he's going to be our alpha male out there on the defensive side of the ball, kind of give you that J. Lou type of vibe out there at the cornerback. And then when it comes to D Winters, I think that he's our most important piece, honestly, defensively, because he is our most seasoned linebacker. I mean, D got more snaps last year for the 49ers, Voch, than Overshown got in his career. You know what I'm saying? So he's our seasoned veteran as things currently stand. And I feel like the thing that he's able to do is he's able to see it and digest it and scrape well through the garbage and just make plays. Now, is he a physical linebacker, downhill linebacker, strong at the point of attack? Absolutely not. But sideline to sideline, he's there. Intangibles, IQ, it's all there. So I like the pickups. My concern when it comes to linebacker, just being fully transparent, is I need a built for tough linebacker, as I always say, right? And I feel like Jayshawn Barham is the only linebacker currently that we have in house that fits that bill. A guy that can come on and take on those Cooper Beebe blocks, those Tyler Booker blocks, those Tyler Smith blocks, right? They can stand, can anchor in, that can play physical, that's strong at the point of contact when you're tackling. I feel like Jayshawn Barham is your only linebacker that really brings that, right? You have D Winters, but outside of that, Overshown is a safety linebacker convert, right? Maris, though, he's put on some size. He's more of your tweener kind of coverage guy. You got Shamar James, safety convert from Florida to linebacker. So it's just like, I feel like we got a lot of those tweener modes, but we need the built for winner modes when it comes to linebacker position, because teams like Seattle, they playing 13 personnel, lining up with 3 tight ends and going out there and punching in the mouth. I need to have a counter for that. And I don't want to have a Dan Quinn type situation. We got a bunch of little linebackers who are good in space and invasive. I need someone to come down there and blow some shit up.
Built for winner. That's tough, man. I've been sounding kind of doom and gloom on Overshown the past couple of months or whatever, and it's not personal. People think I have a personal vendetta against him, man, but he's played 19 games in 3 years. Like, he hadn't played a whole season healthy yet. And he's on the last year of his deal. And Jayshawn Barham, I like his film a ton. A lot. He's about as athletic as Overshown is, and he's 240.
Right.
He's 240.
Right.
In this system where Quentin Williams keeping everybody safe, Kenny Clark keeping everybody safe. I think if Overshown plays 22 games, just knocking on wood, J Tuck. If Overshown plays 22 games, I don't think his job's going to be taken or anything like that. I think he'll be a fine player. I think he'll be good to go. I would love it if Overshown played Will more. I just think that they need to put Winters somewhere because Winters, but Winters is 5'11" or whatever. But if anything happens, and it's just my own personal feeling, it ain't personal. If anything happens to Overshown and Jaysean Barham he just looks like he fits in, I think it's going to be a tough time for Overshown to get his job back. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. And the one thing I really don't like Overshown, I love Overshown. I love his stories. I love everything he's overcome. But the fact when I was watching that sounds from the sideline and they talking about putting that green dot on him, hey, bro, I need you to get healthy first and play consistently and get some more snaps before you try to get on some more responsibility, calling plays, trying to get everybody else lined up, right? So I don't want Overshown thinking like that and communicating like that. I want Overshown just reading and reacting because that's what he does great. But my thing is, once again, you do have D out there. And when it comes to Overshown, you mentioned the thing that stands out for him is explosiveness, sideline to sideline. But Jaysean Barham brings that. You know what I'm saying? He brings that with a lot more size and physicality. Overshown wouldn't hire Dave Mulugeta. So more than likely, if he's trying to ask for a bag, we know that's not going to happen. So Jaysean Barham will probably be your linebacker of the future. And he can come down off the edge as well. I think it's going to be hard pressed if we're sitting back, just being fair as we're looking out there in Oxnard. It's going to be hard to say Overshown is clearly better than Barham, but I'm also who I'm giving a mulligan to Voch. To Maris Leofau, right? Maris Leofau coming out of Notre Dame when he played next to J.D. Bertrand. He was the communicator. He was the IQ guy. Mike Zimmer, talking about old man Zim on vacation, trusted Maris Leofau to be the green dot. That all of a sudden, when it came to Matt Eberflus, it's like he don't understand the defense. I was like, that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to be interested to keep an eye on Maris and see how things transpire with him, but also Jaysean Barham, because that second linebacker spot, I want to look at it from a clean slate because I want to make sure Overshown wins it versus them just giving it to him.
It's fascinating just looking back on it, the amount of people that didn't understand Flus's system. And it's like out of the last three DCs, Flus's was the most easy. It was cut and dry. It was, all right, gonna do some cover two stuff, some this and that, and not a whole bunch of whatever. Bam, don't break. It wasn't a whole bunch of technical stuff going on. And I was like, man, how y'all don't get this? You know what I mean? So when Shotty come out and be like, hey, we want a teacher, we want somebody that can do all this, it kind of made sense in that way. Which makes it even more impressive that Caleb Downs comes out and he ain't even put a damn jersey on yet. He's still in his suit and his chain, and he go, oh, I know exactly what Christian Parker finna do. We know the Philly defense already. We're going to be day one ready to run it. And I believe Tommy Yarish asked Devin Moore, how has Caleb Downs been? Like, hey, man, he know all the plays. He lined up everywhere. He know all the plays. J-Tuck, you've alluded to him. I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you to talk about Downs, man. I don't think he's just going to be playing mostly nickel. I think that's just a talking point right now because it's camp and they can't let the real secrets out. I think we can't look at Christian Parker and call him a genius and then in the same breath be like, oh, yeah, Caleb Downs going to play 95% in the nickel. I think that'll be silly. It'll be goofy. Caleb Downs going to be all over the place in this defense, which will make it interesting and special. Talk to me about Christian Parker and how his relationship with Downs being this genius, these two geniuses working together, and Jalen Thompson as well, just to not even sleep on him. The Cowboys have gone from Malik Hooker to being the best safety to Malik fighting for his life as third or fourth guy now. Talk to me about the safety room, how it's changed, the smarts of the safety room, and how that works with CP and his defense.
Man, I used to dream for nights like this, man, when it comes to having a safety. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to dream, Voch. I remember being out there in Dallas and we were getting ready for the draft and I saw my guy out of Florida State, Derwin James, sliding. I'm like, okay, we about to get him. We about to go get our safety, right? And we didn't get him. Love Kyle Hamilton coming out of Notre Dame, one of my favorite all-time players, rest in peace with Sean Taylor. I've been wanting me a safety for so long. I mean, shouts out to you guys' interview you had with Darren Woodson. We haven't had one since Darren Woodson.
Yeah.
So now we have a guy in Caleb Downs who is just phenomenal, just from a skill aspect, IQ aspect. He just understands the game, the way he carries himself. I mean, he carries himself like a 6-year veteran. It's just a different type of spirit when it comes to Caleb Downs. And when it comes to Christian Parker and Caleb Downs' relationship, this is kind of like what we had with Dan Quinn and Micah, right? We had the lion and we had the lineman tamer. It's going to be the same thing when it comes to Christian Parker and Caleb Downs. You saw it in the sounds from the sideline. It was like, hey, y'all go do over there, Caleb. Over here. You know what I'm saying? Let me go talk to you. We have to go over on the field and work on some other stuff, right? Yeah. So I do think that Christian Parker has so many plans for Caleb Downs. You won't just see him in the nickel. You'll see him on the rooftop. You'll see him moved around. You'll see him blitzing off the edge. You're going to see him utilized in so many different ways, which is why I think he moved up in the draft to go get him. So it's going to be special. But I feel confident about the safety room. I'm not just talking about Caleb Downs, but Jalen Thompson was a player that I really loved us getting in free agency. Honestly, when we got Jalen Thompson, I thought we was kind of cool at safety. So I was like, all right, they're not going to draft Caleb Downs because, we got Jalen Thompson and Malik Hooker in them. So it's definitely changed, not only from an IQ standpoint, Voch, but also just from an athleticism. We have playmakers. We have guys that can make plays on the ball. They can move sideline to sideline. Like, no knock to Malik, but him playing at the free, it doesn't really scare offensive coordinators. You know what I'm saying? I go in for verts and try Malik because he's not as rangy as some of these younger guys. So I feel like now you'll be able to rotate your safeties, doing a lot of little robber things. I know, Vic Fangio on the back end, like to start in your cover two, middle field open, then shift to, a single high, different things like that, and disguise on the back end. Because you go back to when we used to play against the Cardinals. Think about this, Voch. There was a defense out there, and I can't explain why I got them on, the schedule this year. The Cardinals defense on the back end always tripped up Dak Prescott, and that is no easy task, right? So we brought in their coaches from the Cardinals. We brought in Jalen Thompson. So we have that disguise thing that can make you hesitate. And if you can cause that hesitation on the back end, hopefully you have guys who can win one-on-ones and get home on the front end and get pressure. So I'm excited about this defense, but I'm excited about the Caleb Downs, Christian Parker relationship. It's going to be fun to watch.
That's a huge, huge talking point, J Tuck. I probably mentioned it once. I should have mentioned it 10, 12, 11 times. Dak ain't really struggled against Fangio and them. Like, Dak was cool. He was doing well against them guys. Arizona and them. And then what? And look, man, this would make it tough, right? Fangio has the better, you would say, got the better, scheme and the better players and stuff, and Dak does well against those guys. Arizona roll some cats out there. They roll Zaven Collins out that mug. You know what I'm saying?
They had Buda Baker in them. But but if you go and watch the Dak's games versus Arizona's defense, right? Watch how Buda Baker he's just doing stuff. Like it's just and it's causing hesitations with Dak, and for some reason he struggles with it. I mean, going to another team that kind of does it, Minnesota did it under Flores. So it's just like, I think that's what we're really going to see when it comes to Caleb Downs. But yeah, it's something about them Cardinals, man. They got something with Dak figured out.
Jay, so I got one more for you, man. I'm gonna let you get to your trading, brother. I appreciate you being here with us, man.
Appreciate you.
Man, we didn't get Max Chrysler, man. That's okay. That's all right. We didn't get Max. I'm gonna keep ringing that bell till the Joneses catch me on Twitter or something. You know what I'm saying? But the Cowboys obviously try to make a push to get extra pass rush in the room. Rashawn Gary ends up here, and I think just like Winters and just like Jalen Thompson, I think people sleeping on Rashawn Gary, who would have been your best pass rusher on the team last year. But we'll talk. Don't listen to Green Bay fans. Whenever somebody break up with a player, they're gonna tell you all the bad shit about him. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Cowboy fans telling Green Bay fans Mike ain't good. Don't even worry about it.
Right.
But the Cowboys have kind of put this pass rush room together. They expect Doin Alright to make a leap. They draft Malachi Lawrence 24th overall. 23rd. They draft 23rd overall. But something interesting happens, man. Like, their name still gets mentioned in pass rush conversations. The Josh Sweat conversation popped. Hey, the Cowboys were interested here. So they're not done at the pass rush position. They'll probably add somebody else in camp, maybe a little bit after that. J-Tuck, what you think about the pass rush group, Malachi Lawrence being in the group now, Doin Alright coming off the hip, though, but what does his year 2 look like? Gary's leading the situation. Where you at with our group of pass rushers? Just the edge.
Yeah. Would I love to have Max Crosby? Absolutely. I think Max Crosby would be the one person that would just push the Cowboys over the edge where I can, start talking reckless to people online when it comes to Max Crosby and if the Cowboys was to add him. But I do feel more confident in the Dallas Cowboys edge rushers this year than I did last year, because now we'll have Quentin Williams for a full year. You mentioned Kenny Clark as well, and also Rashawn Gary. So I feel like the slide protects from offensive line. They're going to be focusing on those guys, which should create 1v1s with, your Donovan Izarakus, your Malachi Lawrence's, James Houston, like those types of players. I mean, and Sam just stays afloat, man. Sam, don't get mad. I ain't, saying? So we'll toss Sam out there, all right? But I feel like they're going to get a lot of 1v1s and two-way goes because the slide protects will be focusing on Q-Dub, also Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary just open up opportunities. So I'm more confident about it, but a guy that I really feel like people are sleeping on, and you mentioned him, Voch, I like Malachi Lawrence. Maybe I'm the Lone Ranger on this, bro. Like, I you know what I'm saying? But I really like Malachi Lawrence. I'm a huge UCF fan for some reason. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of players that I like over there. So I watched him in depth. He has the bend. He has the size. He has the athleticism. He has the motor. He just needs the battery in his back, right? And you have BT Jordan. I want to see BT Jordan. Can you add that battery in the back of Malachi Lawrence? But I do think that he's going to have an uptick. Also, Donovan Izaraku, if he's healthy, I feel like he can definitely add pressure as well. So it's going to be more sacks by committee. Cowboys Nation just has to understand this. That guy, number 11, he gone. Right. You can't just go find another one. It just doesn't happen. So we can still get pressures in different ways. And then also, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys, the way things are built, will be able to get what I think is the most important pressure is interior pressure, Voch, inside the guards, inside that center, right, to make quarterbacks flush outside the pocket. And that's when those edge guys can really eat. So, overall, I'm not as concerned about the edges as everyone else is. My major concern right now is just the linebacker room, personally. But I think edges will be all right. It's just going to come in bunches, right? You might have Malachi Lawrence with 4. You might have Donovan Izaraku with 5. You might have James Houston with 6. It's going to be Rashawn Gary at 4. And I think that's how this defense is going to be built from a pass rushing standpoint.
You said something earlier that made me smile real big inside. When people talk about these penny fronts, they'll, call them 5-man fronts, but I'm an ex-center, so I'm used to just calling out fronts or whatever. Man, it's a 3-3 stack, dog. They just walk them dudes down, you know what I mean? So I'm
right.
glad you said it like that. I'm glad you mentioned it like that. But, in these penny fronts, like you trying to create the matchups, man, the one-on-ones, and that's why I really want if the Cowboys don't do nothing else, I live with the linebacker room. I live with the corners or whatever. If you give me another pass rusher, like a MFer, not the Snowden cat. Shouts out to Snowden. He's a rundown guy to me. Snowden's gonna be cool in the rundown. But give me one more MFer that can maximize Quentin being inside. See, Quentin's going to help Malachi, Donovan Izaraku, Rashawn Gary. That's going to be cool. But if you give me one more MFer to where, man, sometimes Quentin may get a favorable look because we worry about Max over there. It ain't going to be Max. I'm going to go ahead and get Max out of my mind and let the universe do its thing, and hopefully it works out. But Josh Sweat, just whoever. I don't want the one-on-ones. All right, Donovan Izaraku get a one-on-one, and he ain't really
can't win them.
He ain't really winning them like that. I really want to maximize that up front. So you definitely mentioned that. One last one, real fast. The running back situation. People are making a bit of a hubbub about it, but the Cowboys showed you last year they'll run with Javonte and not even worry about it. But there's also this sentiment that the Cowboys have put together this good running back factory over the past few years. Hey, man, Rico was a guy that was unexpected. He steps right in. Or like Malik Davis will call in off the couch and he'll go and do his thing there. What's your forecast for the running back group? And I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, I love Javonte Williams. I just did the film session on him yesterday, man. I love everything that he brought. That was a gem find. Here's the crazy thing, Voch, man. Javonte Williams younger than Schoonmaker. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't no old vet. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people think, he's old or he's washed or he's past his prime. Like, man, he's only 26 years old. So he's still fairly young. So I think that was good to bring him in as a gem last offseason and then get him signed. My personal concern, though, is the next layer, right? I feel like Jaden Blue is going to get every opportunity to be running back too unless he loses it. I feel like Malik Davis is going to be an insurance policy, and then you can add in Phil Maffa, Israel Bandaconda, and some of those guys. My just major concern is if something happens where Javonte has to miss games, is there anybody in-house that's going to make any defensive coordinators lose any sleep? I currently do not. I think the one guy who could be someone that could just turns up and makes this team scarier than what they already, I believe they are. If Jaden Blue just figures it out, Voch, get excited. You know what I'm saying? If he just, he take out them Louis Vuitton shoes and go get some Reeboks or some Adidas and he goes out there and just turns up to a whole nother level, I think this Dallas Cowboys offense will get scary, but it's until we really see it. Now, I know Brian Schottenheimer spoke very highly about him, but we ain't had no pads on yet. So we'll see once we get out there to Oxnard. But me personally, I would like to go get a veteran guy behind that. I've been saying on my channel a lot, the guy I would go get, Clayton Adams, bro, do me a favor. Call Arizona and see what's up with James Conner.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Voch, I feel like last year, if Miles Sanders didn't go down, that 1-2 punch would have been all right. I know a lot of people hated Miles because of the fumble versus Philly. You got to remember, he broke, though. You know what I'm saying? He got loose on them boys before he got shit from behind. So I just feel like if you can get a 1-2 punch with Javonte, so we're not wearing so heavily on him throughout the course of the season, especially where this schedule is built, you got teams out the gate, right? Where you're going to need that run game. I don't want to wear Javonte down. I would like another guy behind him. So I would go try to inquire about a James Conner, but it feels like Jaden Blue is probably going to get the nod. And if he loses it, he loses it. They'll probably go to Malik and maybe Phil Maffa. I've given up on the whole idea using Hunter Lipke as a power back. So I guess he's just a fullback from our standpoint. But, I'm okay with the running back too, but I love Javonte Williams.
Problem with Hunter Lipke is that it ain't nothing he could do that Javonte don't do better. But it is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
What it is. Appreciate you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Tuck from CFO Sports, man. Thank you very much for making a little bit of time for us, sir. Tell the good people where they can find you, what all you do.
Yeah, you can come over to my channel at CFO Sports. We do a lot of Dallas Cowboys content, a lot of film sessions. I'm dropping Jalen Thompson's film session today as well. So follow me at CFO Sports. All social media platforms, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at JTuck151, JTuck151. You can find me over there just doing content, man, and talking Dallas Cowboys football to passionate Dallas Cowboys fans. And I'm excited about this season, man. So salute to you, Voch. Salute to Broadus, all the incredible things that you guys got going on. Also, I do Cover 3 with my brothers DMV and Rome CFT. I think we're going to have Broadus on tonight. So definitely come check that out, man. So gearing up for the season, and it's time to have fun. It's go time, Cowboys Nation. I'm excited about the season.
Appreciate you, sir, for tapping in with us. We about to pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
This episode is also brought to you by World Springs. If you're looking for a way to unplug, recover, and reset for a few hours, World Springs in the Colony is the place for you. They've got over 40 mineral hot springs and cold plunges, plus saunas, private cabanas, food, drinks, and plenty of space just to slow down for a bit. Whether you're looking for a date night, a recovery day after a tough workout, or just an excuse to unplug, World Springs has you covered. Use promo code CGM when you book your soak reservation and you'll get 30% off your visit. And here's the best part. If you subscribe to Crown Global Media on YouTube and use our code CGM, you'll automatically be entered into our World Springs VIP summer giveaway leading into the Cowboys training camp. One winner will receive 6 full-day soak passes, a private cabana rental, a $100 gift card, and a World Springs gift bag loaded with some of their favorite spa products. Head over to worldsprings.com, use the code CGM, save 30%, and we'll see you out there.
Man, chat box, audience. I saw something online, boy, that just made me think about something. Shouts out to J Tuck, by the way. Appreciate him coming on and dropping some wisdom. But man, chat, I saw something online, man, that just made me want to come out and fight some folk, man. Not physically fight nobody, but I had some ideas I wanted to bring to the party. PFF, in which I don't particularly follow a lot of their opinions, but they do have interesting metrics when they start to put some of these think pieces together, some of these articles together. PFF will find a way to make, LT Overton the best player on your defense. They'll do that. So, it's always cool to take PFF with this grain of salt. But I do think what PFF is really good at is isolating metrics or isolating stats or whatnot, right? Which running back broke more tackles between the 40 and the 38-yard line? Like, they real good at shit like that. They just log information real good. So what I do is I'll take PFF's logged information and I'll just, create my own talking point. I don't take PFF's talking points. Man, I saw something interesting on there, man. They was talking about clutch quarterbacks, man. They was talking about quarterbacks in the year 2026 that was clutch as hell. And, you know, man, I saw it and I thought it was an interesting article, man. And the first thing I thought, ain't no way they got Dak Prescott on this list nowhere. The common sentiments about him is that he hot garbage in crunch time. He's trash in these clutch moments, especially against good teams. But, man, if you just put me on 4 for a second, what don't come out in the wash will always come out in the rinse. I want y'all to remember that. Write that down. It will be on the test. You can put me back on 1. If it don't come out in the wash, it's going to come out in the rinse. Always do your research. Always do your due diligence. If I hear somebody say something, not that I believe what people say to me off a whim anyway, I'm always doing research, but I always encourage everybody to just take a second thought about things, right? And there are some people that'll tell you Dak Prescott being the most clutch quarterback in the NFL in 2026, they'll immediately write that off as nonsense. I just want you guys to think about what the Cowboys season was last year. I want you to think about some of the data that goes into making a claim, making a proclamation like that Dak Prescott's the most clutch quarterback in the world. And once we break it all down, you might end up smacking yourself upside the head and go, well, of course, Dak's the most clutch quarterback, and we should have known this the whole time because the variables that go into play, it all makes sense. Now, the super Dak haters that you can't help, that have been championing Kellen Moore to play, quarterback for you this whole time, Trey Lance to come and take over as quarterback, you can't change those people's mind at all. But if you really think about it, right? If you just do a little bit of research, what don't come out in the wash is going to come out in the rinse. The more you think about it, chat, what do these games have in common? You lose to the Eagles by 4. You beat the Giants by 3. You tie with Green Bay. You lose to the Packers by 3. The second game against the Eagles, you beat them by 3. You beat the Chiefs by 3. You lose to the Vikings by 8, and you beat the Washington Football Wizards by 7. What do those games have in common? I'll give you 4 seconds. You damn right it's going to be quiet up in here. I'll give you 4 seconds. Go ahead, chat. Go ahead, comment. What you think? 1-score games. Those are 1-score games. Whether you win or whether you lose, those games are 1-score games. And not only are those 1-score games, but those are 5 1-score games versus top 11 defenses. I say top 11 because of how they ended, but when you played the Chiefs and Packers, they were actually top 10 defenses. When Michael get hurt, your damn defense look different. When Pat get hurt, people play your defense different. You know what I'm saying? But when you played those teams, they were top 10 defense, but I don't want to mess with the numbers. So this overall sentiments of Dak Prescott being bad versus good teams, bad versus good defenses, or he's not clutch versus good defense, I just encourage y'all to go. I mean, you can go pay for PFF if you want to, if you know how to bootleg and knock yourself out. I ain't encouraging or nothing like that, but just go check out the article. But if you look at those 1-score games, it's a whole bunch of, let me say this. If you had to create a metric for how to create a clutch quarterback stat, for every time your team is down, if you make a drive and take the lead back, let's just say that you get 1 clutch point, okay? The Cowboys are losing to some team by 3. Dak Prescott goes and drives the whole offense down and we score points, and now we winning by 4, okay? Every time that happens, Dak Prescott gets a point. If you lose to the Eagles, how many times were you feeling like this offense was in its groove versus the Eagles? But Jalen Hurts goes and does some shit that he don't do against nobody else, especially last year when he was looking real goofy. Or you beat the Giants by 3. It doesn't sound like a lot. Oh, yeah, I beat the Giants by 3. But mind you, in that game, you take a lead versus the Giants. Russell Wilson throws a deep ball to Malik Neighbors and score. You take another lead versus the Giants. Russell Wilson throw another deep ball to Wan'Dale Robinson again. And you get into overtime, and then Dak Prescott goes down and you drive and you win the overtime game versus the Giants, and you win by 3. That's 3 clutch points that you just added to Dak Prescott. And then you ask yourself, how often does Dak have to do that? It used to happen with Romo all the time. Tony Romo will go out there and get in these damn shootouts. The one that jumps out to me in my mind right now is versus the Peyton Manning Broncos. Tony Romo will go out there and put up 42 points or whatever it was, and Peyton them and just come right after that and put up 50. Y'all remember that? I was working at Pizza Hut at the time, so I missed the game, but I was watching it on the Pizza Hut TVs. But if y'all was watching it, Tony was clutch and he put you in position to win the game. But Tony doesn't get credit for it because you lost the game. That's what I respect about this PFF metric. They actually hyper focus on this one piece. How about this? Voch says this: how many times did Dak Prescott win the Packers game? How many times did Dak win? He won the damn game 3 times. It's just that Jordan Love will go score again. Now at the end, I just knew Dak won the game at the end. But hey, Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers put themselves in position to kick a field goal and it ends in a tie. But Dak did enough. Dak did enough against the Panthers. He did enough against the Chiefs. He technically did enough against the Vikings, who were a top-tier defense that we always give credit and respect to, and the Washington Football Wizards. Think about the damn Eagles game where you start to lose the damn game 21-0. The Eagles go out there and beat the shit out you. And man, you start to close your eyes because you ain't trying to see the Eagles beat the shit out you. Eagles fans start tweeting at you. And Dak Prescott just wheels his team out of that nonsense. Dak Prescott been clutch. He been clutch. He been put you in positions to win these games. It's just that your defense fight real hard to put the other team back in the game. Dak will do enough versus a top-tier Minnesota Vikings defense. But Kenneth Murray could not sleep unless J.J. McCarthy was throwing the ball right over his head. He just couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep. I really think Dak did enough in the damn in the Bears game. It wasn't pretty, but you get a Javonte Williams fumble there. You know, Trey Diggs trying real hard for Caleb Williams to throw the ball over his head and all this kind of stuff. Dak has always been clutch, and it makes sense because his offense is always top tier. But anyway, there's a hidden message in all this. There's a hidden message in this Dak being clutch thing, right? And I mentioned it earlier with when I talked to Jay Tuck here, and I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I appreciate Jay Tuck, but I think the hidden message in all this is it's okay to be optimistic about your new defense and you goofy as hell for being pessimistic about your offense. I don't want to say goofy as hell, right? Because that may come off as mean, combative, and argumentative. I don't want to say that because there will be offensive challenges that you have to overcome. You're not a perfect offense, but Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen do goofy shit too. You know what I'm saying? I just want us to all be fair to your Cowboys offense. There may be a step back in certain departments, but in terms of my overall optimism with this Cowboys offense is, bro, I'm having a shootout with J.J. McCarthy right now. This sucks. I'm having a shootout with Russell Wilson right now. This sucks. Why in tarnation is Jordan Love dropping 40 on me, 400 yards, and however many touchdowns, and he ain't do that shit against nobody else this whole season? This sucks. It forces your offense to play different. If I have to be clutch all the time, mistakes are going to be made. I used to get on social media and go like, hey, man, if Dak ain't, just listen to this sentence, y'all. If Dak ain't perfect, we're going to lose this game. If Dak ain't perfect, we're going to lose this game. And there's a lot of people on those tweets in this chat box right now and in these comments that's going to go, yeah, if Dak ain't perfect, you lose this game. But think about what the shit that's saying to you. Think about what they're saying. It's saying 2 things. 1, there's this expectation for Dak to be perfect or else we ain't going to win no damn games. And 2, your defense is so hard that the fact that you have to be perfect is stupid. So now you take Christian Parker and his cast of youthful coaching friends, and it's their job to flip this defense. It's their job to take this defense and put you in situations where you're not having these types of games versus Russell Wilson. Here's my last hidden point in this thing. Dak Prescott may be the most clutch quarterback in the league. I think that just kind of proves that it's a losing stat. Having a clutch quarterback technically is a losing stat. Now, Voch, Sam Darnold is a clutch quarterback by the numbers. Josh Allen is a clutch quarterback by the numbers. I understand what you're saying. But in order to have fourth quarter comebacks, you got to be losing. You got to be losing games, have a fourth quarter comeback. You know what I'm saying? I would love for you to have that clutch shit in your pocket for when we need you. Yo, Dak, we need you to lead a drive versus Green Bay. Or we need you to lead a drive versus the Chiefs, Dak. And man, Dak will go out there and throw a deep ball down the field versus the Chiefs or something. He'll go out there and slang it all over the yard to GP and CD, or CD wasn't playing in Green Bay. But Dak will go do his thing. It's cool to have that in your back pocket. But if you have to rely on your quarterback being clutch all the time, it's a losing formula. You're going to lose games if your quarterback got to be clutch. What this is? For 11 games? If your quarterback got to be clutch for 11 games, that's nonsense. I would love it if Dak wouldn't have to be clutch no more. I would love it if Dak was clutch when we needed him. But I don't want that dude to have to be clutch. And I know there's one last talking point that I got here that somebody in the comments going to bring up, and it's a fair point. Voch, why ain't Dak clutch in the postseason? I feel you. And Dak, look, man, Dak got a couple games in the postseason where he was clutch, but Dak has more games in the postseason where he wasn't. If there's two things that lead to championships, it's defense and his run game. It's defense and his run game. But then there's a third thing that you kind of need to win games in the postseason after you have defense and run game, and it's clutch quarterback play. Can your quarterback make plays at the end of the game? Now, this is where it's interesting, right? And I want to do further research on this because it's fascinating. Why is the run game important? The run game in the postseason, why is the run game specifically important in the postseason? Because one, you want to be able to control the clock when you want to. You want to be able to set up your passing stuff so that you can pass when you want to. But most importantly, we've watched film on your quarterback the entire year, on your passing operation the entire year. And you have tendencies in your passing operation that these other defenses have picked up over 17, 18 games. What happens in the postseason is that they compile all that information and they make it tough for your quarterbacks. Why you think when you watch most of these playoff games, most of them, all these quarterbacks look weird in the first half and then they open up in the second half? Well, because you have to make adjustments. You have to buy yourself time to be able to come out into a second half and then go be who you are. The perfect example of this is Cowboys versus Green Bay. When we were at home and Green Bay kind of put 40 points up on us in a half or whatever that nonsense was. And you're like, all right, well, Dak can't even adjust at half because you damn down by 30, 40, 50 points. That's nonsense. What if Dak was only down by 6 points at the half? And your offense then makes the adjustment. Because in the second half of the Green Bay game, yeah, the Cowboys came out and they made their moves, they threw the ball all over the place and they did what they had to do. You would love to still be able to run the football, which is another facet of you need to keep these games low. But coming out of a half and the game is still intact, Dak don't always have those opportunities. Dak has had them, but he don't always have those opportunities. What Dak needs the most is he needs a run game to take pressure off of him, for one, but to give him time to figure this thing out. Buy Dak Prescott some time. If Dak got to go be a hero in the second quarter, we'll never win no damn games in the postseason. But if this thing gets close and we get to the end of the game and Zeke's not lined up at center, and some nonsense is going on, or Trey Diggs ain't, flopping around and not tackling George Kittle or whatever it is, you'll have a totally different situation here. But that's run game. And the defense basically helps the run game with that, right? The defense keeps the other side from putting up those points. So, yeah, defense wins championships. Run game wins championships. But there are those times where your defense did his job and the run game did his job. You need your quarterback to be clutch. I don't want Dak to be clutch all year. I want Dak to be clutch in the last game of the season. And according to PFF, we can rely on him for that. All right? Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me on this. We'll keep it on. We'll keep it on. Put me back on one. We appreciate y'all for tapping in with me on this episode of Voch and Friends on a solo dolo edition of the Doin Alright podcast. Thank you, J Tuck, for tapping in with us of CFO Sports. Y'all go follow him, J Tuck 151 on social medias. Greg Ellis tomorrow. Y'all be sure to tap in with that. And we will not be giving you a show on Friday. So hey, don't be showing up because we won't show up. Okay. Crown Global Media on is where you find everything. CrownGlobalMedia.com is where you find all the work that we do, the clips pages that we have, all the merch is there. You can put whatever logo on whatever garment that you would like. Knock yourself out. We appreciate y'all for holding us down on the merch side. We're running our 4th of July patriotic Crown Global Media logo shirts right now, the U.S. flag shirts right now. So y'all can go. All right, cool. We are working on that behind us, so y'all go and tap in with that, and we appreciate y'all, love y'all. And besides that, he's Crown Global Media on Twitter. He ain't here right now, but that is what that is. And I'm Voch Lombardi. We'll catch y'all next time. Content, don't cut nothing out. I'm Voch Lombardi. I love y'all to pieces. We'll catch y'all tomorrow to talk to Greg Ellis. All right, Crown.